Jackie, you and I have not had a chance to talk since you welcomed baby girl Journey into the world in March. So congratulations, Mama. And how's she doing? How's Mama doing?
You know what? She is awesome. I mean, Mom's a little sleep deprived, if you can't tell by the look on this face, but she's about every 2 hours we're up and feeding. But you know what? We went to our 2-week checkup, and they really want them to be back to their birth weight by the time they get to their 2-week checkup. So that would have been 6 pounds, 12 ounces for her. At our 2-week checkup, she weighed 8 pounds. So she's doing really well.
That girl is eating. Good deal. That makes you feel so good as a mom when you're like, okay, good. The weight's good. Everything's good.
She's great. She's actually a really easy baby. She's super, yeah, very lucky with this one.
Well, and you just recently posted on Instagram, you're already back out there roping the dummy on the medicine ball, then Journey's in her bouncer watching. I mean, you're already doing this again.
Well, you know, it's like I've been cooped up. Like my husband said, I look like one of those horses that like pace the fence, you know? And so as soon as I could get back outside and doing stuff, then I was, you know, but the second kid, everything was so easy with her. I mean, the labor was easy. I'm very fortunate for how everything happened. But, you know, I thought I was Superwoman there for a second, and I went out there. I'm like, I'm fine. I feel fine. I'm going to go ride. And I rode 3 one day. And then I'm like, I'm not even sore. This is a cakewalk, you know? So the next day I rode 6, and then I went back down to 3. And then the next day I couldn't even get on one. So I was like, yeah, I'm not as much Superwoman as I was. So
lady, you are Superwoman. And I love so many things about you, but that's one that I just adore is you're real and you're authentic. And I feel like moms these days have this idea and pictures that you have to always have your hair done and your makeup done and things have to be perfect and simple and kids have to look a certain way. And that's not real. That's not real life. So it gives so much encouragement to me as a mama and living on a ranch and taking care of animals that the beauty is actually in the messy hair and the boots and the kids running around in diapers. Like that's real and that's awesome.
Yeah, I literally right before this call got thrown up on and had to like go just quickly change, reshower, and just kind of put myself back together just to jump on this call. So it's not as glamorous. I kind of have always thrived in the chaos, and I just think that's what you have to do.
Mm-hmm. Completely agree. Well, you are in your bathroom, which you and I talked about, and I love because you got to find a quiet place.
I mean, you do what you got to do, right? I mean, so this is my quiet place right now.
Well, let's talk about you being a mom and getting back to roping and just that balance. Did you bounce back like this after you had your son? You know, I did come back. I think I went to my first rodeo 2 weeks after Creed, but I think I'm so, you know, I think for me, this is what I do every day. And so this is what I did every day before I was pregnant and before I quit roping. And then I did a lot of stuff. I mean, I really tried. I hired a trainer before the NFR this year to try to stay in shape and try to stay strong and try to do all these things. And so, and because it's something I really want to come back to, that's what I focus my time on, is like staying in, you know, roping shape. I kind of stepped away from it a little bit more this time. I told myself I wasn't even going to pick up a rope. So since December 10th till about 2 weeks ago, I didn't even swing my rope or pick it up, because I was like, you know what, I'm going to step back and kind of do a little experiment and see if maybe some of these things I've been working on can go away and then come back. But yeah, both times I really wasn't that person. Maybe, like I said, maybe it's because this is what I do all the time, but some people talk about losing their balance and their, you know, and all that. And I'm so fortunate and lucky enough that I never did do that with either kid. Well, we have some incredible questions. You've reached out to the Ariat community for us, and we have a lot of fan questions. So I want to get to those. Before we do, though, you talked about December 10th. Let's just go a few days before that, and you winning your 20th World Championship, and you doing it 6 months pregnant. Every championship, I'm sure, is so incredibly special. But did earning this one feel a bit different?
Oh my gosh, yes, it did. I mean, this to me was that surreal dream that you didn't really know was actually ever going to happen. You know what I mean? To be able to be a part of the NFR is like, that in itself was just like, every time I'd just be like, are we really doing this? Is this really happening? You know? And so when they announced, I didn't know who won it. And so when they announced who won it, it was just like, I've literally dreamed of this since I was a little girl. I have worked for this for the last 20 something years, you know, and even
even thinking that, people thinking you're crazy, that it's never going to happen and all this, but you know what, you just keep pushing because you love it. And you're like, there is an opportunity for this. And so to be the first one and know that I'll forever be the first one, and that's the only one that ever gets given away, that is just, I mean, obviously I don't even know the words for it, because you try to put it into words and I can't, but it was an amazing feeling.
And so well deserved. And you've really been on the front lines of what's happened to breakaway roping, because I think about WCRA and you winning that first big paycheck. It seems every time I talk to you, it's in the winner's circle, and breakaway roping is in a new place with more money added, with more women that are involved and more competition. And it seems like it's grown more in the last 2 years than it has almost in 10 or 15 years prior to that. Does it feel like that?
It 100%. But here's the funny thing. If you go back and look at the stats, the breakaway ropers have always been there. I mean, it's always been one of the biggest events in junior rodeo. It's been one of the biggest events in high school rodeo and one of the biggest events in college rodeo. But then it quit. And so I'll always give so much credit to the WCRA, because they were the very first ones that just bit off, and they were like, you know what, you're an event. You're not just part of it. You're not just going to get to go here. You're not going to do, you're an event just like every other event. And they were the first one that gave us the shot at the equal money. They were the first one that put us in the perf with all the guys. I mean, and it went over so well. And from there, it's just snowballed. And it's like, all of a sudden everybody's opened up, because we've just gotten these, opportunities finally to show that, hey, we're here, we've been here, and it's fun to watch. These girls work hard. And so I can't even believe the opportunities that we're given now. I mean, it's amazing what a girl, even in high school, can win in the breakaway now. It's amazing.
And where do you see this going? It doesn't feel like it's reached its peak. It seems like it's still becoming more rodeos and more events and more money, right?
Yes. And, obviously us as breakaway roper, our goal is to be in the NFR, not a part of the NFR, which is amazing, but to actually be part of the rodeo itself at night, and be a part of the NFR and be a standard event at all rodeos. I mean, that's our goal. And so everything we do, even I know there's been a group of us that for the last 3 years have just hauled and just done crazy things that don't even make sense to try to be at all these rodeos that put breakaway into it. And like, personally for me, I mean, I want to find each and every, like, the committee members and be like, thank y'all for giving us a chance, and thank you for having us. And so I'm really hoping that stuff pays off, and eventually we're everywhere.
I can't wait to be watching in the stands or talking to you after at more and more events and when it happens. And speaking of breakaway roping, we got a lot of questions coming in, and some cool ones too from moms wanting to be able to encourage their daughters. One of them that I love: what advice do you have for parents with kids that are eyeing a future in rodeo and breakaway roping?
Just give your kids the opportunity. And sometimes, you can literally practice rodeo in some way, shape, or form, be getting better. And it's almost like the clock never stops.
Right.
We go all day long. And so sometimes it does take some encouragement from parents and some push from parents, and, and just give them the opportunity and just stay hooked. It is hard. It is everything. But if your kid takes on to this lifestyle, they'll have an amazing life and an amazing career. And so just give them the extra push and the extra opportunities every time you have a chance.
You mentioned your mom at the beginning of that. Is she a big inspiration for you?
Oh yeah, my mom, she drove me when I was young and has taught me to have a work ethic, and that's above and beyond. Like, you never just did anything part way. You did it all the way and above and beyond what expected of you. And, she gave me all the opportunities. We might not have had a lot, but she gave me everything she had, and so many opportunities, and horses, and we drive all night or do whatever we needed to do to make things happen. And so that was all because of her. I definitely wouldn't be where I am today without her.
Amen to that. Feel the same about my mama. So shout out to all the rodeo mamas out there, because you make it happen. Here's another one. It says, how can I increase my 10-year-old daughter's confidence in her riding after she fell off?
Oh gosh, it's so funny now, because I know the fear even that parents have now as a parent.
Right.
Yes. I always, I'll turn my kid loose and be listen. Now it's like, oh my gosh, no, I don't even care to ride yet. You're too little, So, the biggest thing is just make sure you keep them on something safe. You know what I mean? That's the biggest thing, is just keep them on something safe, and so that these things don't happen. Things are going to happen in rodeo, they're going to fall. But if I could say anything, just keep her on something safe and start small and just do stuff that's encouraging to her, and it's going to be easy for her, and let her build on that, and she'll be back to it.
Now, a lot of questions about when you're back in the box. And I have some questions about this too. So I'm going to kind of put them all together here. A couple questions about, what do you tell yourself when you're in the back of the box? What do you look for? So take us through those moments before you nod your head.
So I'm one of those people that, like, I put so much conviction in the practice pen and things that are going on, and put the work in so many places that when I get somewhere, I do let a lot of muscle memory take over at that point, because I don't want to have to walk myself through every part of a 1 second run. You know what I mean? That's a lot of thinking to try to go fast. But the one thing that I will do when I get to the rodeo is I will kind of tell myself, like, I'll kind of watch the start and see what the start is, and kind of watch my calf. I mean, I'm constantly studying the calves, writing them down, watching the start, trying to figure that out. And once I make my mind up on the start, I'll tell myself that, and I might say one other thing. If I've been working on something that has been holding me back, or it's been an issue or whatever, I might have one cue thing that I say through my mind before I nod my head. But the first thing is, I'm going to tell myself, see this start, see this start. Well, once I see that start, hopefully from then on, my muscle memory is taking over.
And you talked about the practice pen. We started this conversation talking about you on a medicine ball. How much of your practice is core work or strengthening or roping a dummy compared to actually being in the arena on a horse?
Well, there's only so many runs a horse can take, you know what I mean? And so I feel like there's only so many runs before you're going to start regressing on your horse, whether it be the horse gets sore, or he starts dreading, or you've ran too many, and so the horse only gives you 80% of what he has. Well, then that's not good, realistic practice. And so I'm going to find that happy medium on each horse, that it's like, okay, he can take this much, or he needs this much, or whatever it may be. And then the rest of that, I got to figure out ways to improve myself without just taking away from the live runs, because when I do make those, I want those quality runs, not quantity. You've got to find other ways, just like either working out to get better balance, roping from the top of the chute or beside the chute, or like the core exercises on the ball, roping the dummy drills. So you've got to mix it up, because you got to put in the time, because if not, somebody else is.
So true. And then another question that we got a lot: what's the pair of winning Ariat boots? What does Jackie Crawford wear to win it?
For my boots that I compete in, I use a lot of the leather sole, square toed, just your cowboy boots, like the prime time boots that I wear. And it's funny, because when I go to big places, I wear a lot of black. I wear a black belt. I wear black boots to match. I'm one of those people that you can't do brown and black together. It's got to be black and black, brown and brown. It's weird. I know, it's just this thing I have. But so a lot of times when I go to the big places, because I think that they photograph better and it just looks sharper and more professional, I wear black boots. But it's generally always leather sole, square toed, just your typical primetime boots.
One of my favorite items in your Ariat attire, you post on Instagram, would be your jeans that you made into maternity jeans. And I thought, I got to get me some of those when baby number 2 comes around.
Right. Hey, those are the best thing that I did. I had a lady that's right here in my neighborhood, and she took all my favorite jeans, and we worked on that and figured out how to make it work. And I'm telling you, that was probably the most comfortable thing I did. Honestly, I would not mind wearing those still if I didn't have to tuck my shirt in. If I didn't want to wear my new buckles so bad, I would still wear those. I'm like, can you build me some more of those? They were so comfortable. It was awesome.
I was just going to ask if you still bust those out of the closet.
Got them stacked away. I just have a hard time parting with them. Jeez, but.
And gosh, what a special item too, to think of what you were able to accomplish in those jeans. And it's crazy how we could look at something like that and think, gosh, look what I did over those last 10 months. And what you did, let me just tell you, so inspiring and so incredible. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. So thank you for being such an inspiration as a mama and a world champion. I love watching you, Jackie.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that. That was a pretty special time and I think it's going to be special, when Journey can understand like hey, you were here, you were there, you know, and we did it. And so I'm pretty proud of that time.
Well, and guess what we just did? We got through this whole thing without a toddler for either of us.
Right? One vaguely out there crying, but they didn't. I'm not worried about it.
Well, Jackie, thank you so much for everything. And we look forward to seeing what this year has for you and your family and watching your family grow and baby girl journey grow up.
Thanks for having me. And we're excited to get back at it this year.